JB, I'm on you tonight. Mr. Mwewa.
Yes, Mr. Kasakula.
Yes. Any question, any clarification, contribution?
Yeah, it's just a contribution.
Yeah.
At least I walk away with one lesson from the many lessons you presented today. That first is the control or management of the virus in the field should begin by taking care of the insects in the field, because they are the major vectors that will transmit the virus from one plant to the next. So insect management or insect control in the field is primary. And also tools disinfection is also another primary control or management measure that we should employ in order that we don't, since tools are used from plant to plant, like for example, a sprayer, you use it from this plant to the next, so you can transmit all the way throughout the field. So managing the tools and controlling the insects is primary in management of preventing virus spread in the field, and also making sure that we uproot any plant that is infected with the virus. That's a lesson for me today.
Okay. Thank you very much. I much appreciate your contribution. And Mr. Mwaba,
Hello?
yes, Mr. Mwaba.
Yes.
Yeah, anything in as regards to today's lesson?
Any concern or any? No, I think so far. Oh, yes. No. It's an eye opener to all of us, actually. It's very beneficial. However, I heard Mr. Mwe saying insect control, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would urge our farmers to make sure that even when they are controlling insects, they should know the type of insecticide they should use. It's not necessarily using any kind of insect. I mean, any kind of insecticide. We have to know what type of insecticide we are using and what type of insects we are getting. Because certain insecticide, believe me, like for instance, I'll just give an example so that everyone can be on the same page. Certain insecticide, like if a tutor, so to say, maybe. Let me talk about a tutor. Tutor absoluta has got a life cycle. I think everyone knows about that, But there are certain insects which will only target the pupa, okay? Or maybe it will only attack the larvae. It will fail the adult, it will fail the egg, it will fail the pupa, but it will manage only to kill the larvae, So by virtue of that chemical, leaving out these three phases, it means you're not controlling, Again, the insect will reoccur because at a certain stage, you build up the resistance, you find out the next generation would come now would even resist any kind of chemical you may use. So please make sure that the chemical you're using, one is the right chemical and it has got a proper efficacy to control such kind of insects. I think that's my point I wanted to share.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Moa, for that. Yeah. So it's very important for us. Okay, JB. Yes, JB, you
Yeah,
can go ahead.
yes, you also in your presentation there was something on bacterial wilt.
Yes,
So just taking you back to bacterial wilt.
yes.
What's the best way of preventing it before planting? Because I've noticed that some of my plants are affected when it has good fruits and you are seeing the fruits, then it just starts wilting.
Okay.
You are losing the fruits while you've applied all the fertilizer and you've done all you can. So what's the best way of preventing bacterial wilt before planting?
All right. Oh, thank you very much. Like I said earlier on, bacterial infections love low pH soils. So the first thing that you need to know is to to control your pH, at least to raise the pH to at least 5.5, somewhere there. When you raise the pH, then you reduce the risks. Then number two, you start your application from the day of planting. You do the drench for every fortnight, and you also do an aerial spray every week for Copster. Then for Trichos, you do the drench every fortnight. So that would help you to prevent bacterial wilt from occurring in your field. So raise the pH, and you should also uh, check the pH of the water that you're using. Most especially here in the Copper Belt, mostly the water comes from the streams, and most of the streams are contaminated, and they usually have water which has got low pH. So you can be controlling the pH of the water. If you've got a tank, you can be adding Aquarite 5 to the water so that at least it lowers the pH. If that's not practical, then you need to do the liming in your field so that you raise the pH. Thank you. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
I was just looking at the practicality of raising the pH based on the fact that it's being lowered because of the low pH in the water which we are getting from the stream.
Okay.
Do you also mean that during the crop life,
Yes.
while the plant, because I know that most of the times we apply lime either before planting or during the early stages. Do you also mean that during the crop life, when the plant is already grown and it has fruits, periodically you may also need to apply lime?
Yeah, okay. It depends on the pH of the soil. Sometimes the lime that you have applied may not be enough to raise the pH. So you should be doing a periodical soil testing so that you know the pH of the soil. Because of the substances that we add in the soil, there's water, there's also some fertilizers. All those may add to the lower pH of the soil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you are covered.
Yes, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Any question before Mr. Mwawa comes in?
Mr. Kasakula.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I can get you.
Yeah. How do you determine the amount of, let's say I go to the lab, I take my sample to the lab, and then the pH is 3.4 or so, like was the case in one of my fields, 3.4 pH. how do I determine the quantity of lime to add, either the the liquid lime or the powder or hydrated lime? How do I determine how much I add to the soil?
Okay, so thank you very much. Mr. Mawa, are you able to come in on this?
Yes.
Okay, come in.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
You got the question, Mr. Mawa, from Mr. Mawa.
What did you
Mwila.
say?
Oh, he was asking how do you
I couldn't
determine?
hear. What was the question?
Oh, the question was on how you can determine the quantity of lime to add to the soil. He gave an example of his field.
I want to say something. Where do I go?
He said
Yes.
one of his fields had the pH
can-
of 3.2. Should be 3.2. So
3.4.
Oh, 3.4. 3.4. So how can you determine the quantity of lime to apply?
3.4.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. And strictly speaking, lime hasn't got specifications. But depending on the pH, you always have to. If it is very low, you always have to be on a higher side. Is that clear? Can you understand me somewhere?
Yeah.
You have to be on a higher side. Hello?
That's the higher side is what is difficult to determine, though.
Yes, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
You have to be on a higher side. But if you are if it is maybe
Yes.
averaging
Then
somewhere
no.
maybe 5 somewhere 4 point something to 5, there again maybe you have to be like on a lower part. However, the higher part, if you are using liquid lime, if you are using
Okay.
liquid
Then
lime,
once
if it is liquid,
I can
if you are
stop the
using
video.
liquid lime,
Just this for me to speak. Okay.
if you are using liquid lime, the lower part is you have to go in with the about 6.2 liters per hectare. That is the lower part. And the higher part, you have to go in with the 10 liters and above per hectare.
All right.
Are you getting it, Mr. Mwel?
Yes, clear.
Yes. And if it is this our ordinary lime, I think it's very important that we go in with that as well, because that will sort out the problem in the wrong land.
All right.
I think you have to go in. Hello?
Oh, okay. Continue. Rosemary, Rosemary, I've seen your hand. You are going to you are going to speak immediately after Mr. Mawa finishes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Mawa, you can continue.
Okay. On the ordinary lime, our ordinary lime is this lime we use, the powdered lime. On the higher part, most of people they use about 2 tons per hectare. 2 tons per hectare. And then on the lower part, it is averaging between 800 to 1,000 kg per hectare. I think I don't know if you have answered your question.
Yeah, I think there's some guide there, definitely. Thank you.
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you
so
very much.
But that was too low. Believe me, you have to go in frequently. Actually, it's not a one-off, but frequently you have to go in with the especially the drenching lime, the liquid lime. You have to go in with the liquid lime frequently.
Mm.
All
Yeah.
right, thanks. I'll bring Mr.
Thank you.
Mwewa to your farm, Mr. Mwewa, one of these days. Yeah.
All right, he's welcome.
All right. Thank you very much. And in addition to that, you just need to do a periodical. You need to do. You need to frequent soil testing. When you apply after 3 months, you test. You see the pH, and then you add some more lime if there is need to add some lime. So, Madam Kuka, you can ask the question.
Thanks, Mr. Kasakula. My question is, I think I'll take you back. There's something I wasn't clear about. You said once a piece of land has been affected by a viral disease, it's not curable. Does it mean that piece of land has to be abandoned, never to grow anything there? That's my one question. The next one is, I can ask about any crop, isn't it?
Yeah, you can ask about any crop.
I'd like to do some watermelons just now, but I'd like to find out the best type of irrigation. I have the overhead sprinklers and the rain hose. I'm sure you know about the rain hose.
Yes.
Kind of irrigation. But someone told me that watermelons do well under drip irrigation. So should I forget the idea of doing watermelons using that kind of irrigation that I have?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. On the second question, Mr. Mwewa will come in. So let me answer the first question, where you said if a crop is affected by viral infection is incurable. Yes, I said the crop, not a land. So what you do is that when the crop is affected, you need to eradicate it, or the new terms that we are using now is quarantine. You quarantine it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you remove the crop, that infected crop, from the main field, and you take it outside the field. And the next step that you need to do, you need to burn all the affected plants which you've uprooted from the field. The reason why we are doing that, you don't want the spread of the transmission of the infection, because if it's still fresh and an insect feeds on it and comes and feeds on a crop that is not infected, the infection will be transmitted. If you yourself touches it without disinfecting your hands, then it is going to infect the new crop. Mr. Mwewa, are you able to come in on the second question, the best type of irrigation on watermelons?
Sorry, Mr. Kasakula, before Mr. Mwewa comes in,
all right.
Just to add on, once I've uprooted the infected crop, for example, I uproot everything. Okay, do I need to disinfect it before I plant a new crop? And if so, what kind of disinfectant should I use?
Okay, I talked of some biological pesticides such as Actinos, Sporkill, and there's also Tricos. Those are the those are the ones that you can use so that you prevent if there are any viral infections which have remained in the soil, from being transmitted to the next generation.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Kasakula.
Yes, Mr. Mwewa, are you able to come in?
Yes.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I think that the point your colleague said that drip is better than the overhead spraying program. I mean, a watering program. I think, you see, if you want quality, you have to avoid
Yes.
a number of diseases. Because
Mm.
when you start say when you say you want your watermelons to be under over irrigation, I think
Yes.
instances of diseases will be very high
Mm.
as
Okay.
compared to drip irrigation. Yes. So even the quality of your product, the melons in this instance, will be
Mm.
compromised if say you use the other one and you are not very tough on 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 management, especially on diseases. Yes. So I think
Okay.
your colleague, that advice, I would take it as well as an individual, as a person, as a farmer. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Thanks a lot.
I don't know if you have answered your question.
Yes, you have. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Sorry. Any other? What about potatoes? Is it the same?
Mr. Mwaba, are you able
The
to
irrigation system.
take that question again?
Hello?
If you wanted, I said if you
I'm
wanted to do
sorry.
potatoes,
If you want to do potatoes,
yes,
yeah,
which is
it's
the
the same
best?
issue. It's the same issue because potatoes actually falls in the same family like tomato, you know? They're in the same family
Okay.
with tomatoes, and they are so prone to diseases as well. So if you can
Okay.
effectively use the drip, then you have quality, you have a quality product. Yeah,
Okay.
you have a quality
Thank
yields.
you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Kasakula,
Yes.
Mr. Mavas mentioned, of course, I think the control of diseases, we have problems in rainy season because maybe of excess water, as is alluding to, and promoting the drip, which is, of course, excellent. I think for the farmer who asked about 2 irrigation systems, it would be good also to, we're not gambling, of course, but to try both systems, manage the diseases in the rain horse. Because, for example, you've been to my farm, Mr. Kasokola. The current cabbages that we have are excellent. Never had such cabbages that we have currently on rain spray. We have cabbages on drip and cabbages on rain spray. The cabbages on drip are big. They're excellent in terms of quality and everything, size and all, as compared to that which is on drip. So, and many plants on rain spray are excellent. The point you made last week, or maybe the other week, was that when I asked about rain spray and the issues to do with diseases, and when we relate it to the to rains, you said in actuality you actually manage the water. It's not like not consistent watering from the rain the way it is. Maybe it can rain 3-4 days, you are failing to control your diseases. But for rain horse, you water at a certain time and spray at another time. So maybe the farmer should try to to have one as a control, one on drip and the other portion on rain horse, so that we can learn something from that combination.
All right.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
a very good point.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
thanks a lot for that contribution.
Yeah. So yeah, the point that Mr. Mo was trying to bring to the table was it's better. It's the crop is better. Crops which are in the families of potatoes, tomatoes, and watermelons are better managed on drip because they are more prone to fungal infections such as blights, yeah, and other diseases which are transmitted by water. But all in all, if you've got a very good crop protection system, uh, it's better you do it that way. Okay, I understand it's getting late, and I don't know if there are any questions before we we call it a day?
Nothing from me. Till tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, in the last meeting that we had,
Maybe to say, don't forget to share the PowerPoint.
oh, the recording. I'll share the recording. I'll also share the document. I'll do it. I'll convert it into a PDF so that it's very easy for everyone to read.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So the last
you.
meeting that we had last week, we agreed that we'll be having trainings once in a week, and we've adjusted the time from 18 to 19:30 because most of the people during 18 hours are busy. So 19:30 seemed to be more convenient for most of us. So we are going to arrange for another training next week. We are going to liaise with my colleague Angel Mwaba on the next topic that we are going to have. And we hope you have benefited from this training. Yeah. I don't know, Mr. Mwaba, do you have any closing remarks before we end the meeting?
Oh yeah. It's my first time being on this platform, and it's quite informative. And thank you very much from the participants. Please let's continue the lessons, and I hope to see you soon, like Mr. Kasakula said, that we can discuss business and move, see the way we would move. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, on behalf of the Syngenta team, Copper Belt region, Kasakula, the technical sales representative of vegetable business unit, Syngenta Zambia. Okay, I end the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been very valuable
You're
and
welcome.
beneficial. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Good night to all. I'll share the recording, the PDF document.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.